You know when there's something that really annoys you and you don't really want to be annoyed by it, you want to be the calm, collected, normal, easygoing person that you are. However, you realise that sometimes things just have to be said. And although you like to be very politically correct and not name names, and I'll still do that, sometimes the whole context of things has to be put there on the table, looked at, analysed and fixed. And so rather than having a problem and not doing anything about it, I decided that there is something that's really annoying me. What can I do to fix it? And I can't change the world, but I can change a little bit. So let me explain. So I've recently done jury duty, and in this last case that we had, I can't name names of course, but there was a group of individuals and there was 6 people who were basically taken to court, somebody who'd conned them out of $350,000 between them. Now, when I went through the whole jury system and listened to all of the plaintiffs basically with the other 11 jurors, it made me think about a number of things. One is that all of these people went to a course, and the course was an introductory 2 hours free. And then after that, you paid $2,000 if you wanted to, and you would get to be in their membership group. And that $2,000 allowed you to go to a weekend event. So that's all very good. You get lots of information, $2,000, not too much, going to get all this information. And then when they get to the event, the 2-day event, they basically are in a sales fest, which gets them excited about the prospects. And for example, this one was buying property in the US at huge discounts and learning how to do it. And with all of the information they were going to get, videos and paperwork and contracts, and they were going to have the right entity set up for them to be able to purchase in. They could actually also attend a buying frenzy, I should call it. I can't remember the details of the name of it, but it was basically a buying week. And that's where people would go and have all these different properties they could buy at less than half price sometimes. You know, half the price of what is the question, but half the price of an old value. And these people would help them through the whole process. And for that, plus they would get a trip to the US, which, you know, is very exciting. It would cost them $42,000. Now, if you said to them, I want you to come to a weekend, a free 2 hours in the evening, and then I want you to come to a weekend, and then I'm going to sell you some property that I probably have some vested interest in, and I'm going to have people organise the paperwork for you, and I've probably got a vested interest in them as well, so I might get a discount or some sort of kickback from that, and that's going to cost you all up about $45,000. Is that okay? Oh, plus you've got to buy your property. Is that all right? And then you're on your own. Is that okay? You would say no. But when you go in step by step and you're with people who are on the same excited journey that you are, and you're all eager about the things that you can do, you're educated. These people that were in this class action were all educated. They were lovely people. They were genuine, trustworthy, eager to improve their situation, you know, and not just eager because they were greedy, but eager because they really needed to get out of where they were, either through health or partner's health, or whatever, or depression. So, and they had faith that they could find the right people to help them. So they're genuine people. They're not looking for a get rich quick scheme. They're just looking to improve their lot. Now, they get educated enough that they understand that things can be done, and that a really good deal doesn't just come along once in a lifetime. It comes along lots of times. They get a bit of information about different types of entities, so they know what to expect. Now, you would think that I'm going to tell you now about them complaining about the company that took them through this course. And sadly, I'm not going to talk to you about that, because they didn't complain about that. They felt that they got their money's worth because they had CDs and everything else coming out of there. Every piece of paperwork you could imagine. So they felt they got their money's worth, and even if they didn't, they weren't feeling comfortable about saying so. But what had happened is that another person had come into their midst in a networking situation, and basically misled them to believing a lot of information about him that was that he knew all these right people, that he had very high connections, that he could get them an amazing deal that was going to be no money down, and it was going to basically put about $1 million in their pocket every year. Now, that sounds unbelievable and too good to be true, I know. But if you go through the step process by process, it's done in a very efficient and effective manipulative way. So people don't feel they're being conned, they feel that they've got an opportunity and they've got the fear of missing out. That's what the whole sales stuff is about, the fear of missing out. Either sign now, you're going to lose it. You're going to a supermarket, you don't really want Mars bar, there's one left on the shelf, and all these people start rushing towards it, and you might think, I better grab it before everybody else does. It must be valuable, or it's the last one, I've got to have it anyway. So the whole psyche of the fear of missing out is heavy on salespeople, and that's one of the key things I want you to come away from this quick discussion about. Beware of that. And what I say to some of my clients is that if you're going to make a decision based on fear, stop and don't. You go and do your research first. Doesn't matter what the person says. If you're doing it on the fear of missing out or any other fear of loss, any fear at all, don't make that decision. Your decisions should be made on fun and excitement. Even then you have to be careful. So these people had to be careful with that because the excitement was there, somebody was going to be doing everything for them. They were leaving it completely up to this other person, and within a week of the discussions, or perhaps 2 weeks, they'd basically parted with about $50,000 each. Now, once they'd done that, there were some other criteria put into place, like a non-disclosure agreement. So this is such a good deal, we have to sign this because we don't want anybody else to know about it. All very logical. And once you've got your money in and you really want to believe this, and you can't believe that somebody would outright lie to you and look you in the face, especially when they're an apparent Christian and a missionary, so you basically trust them. And often you don't trust yourself. That is really another key thing that I want you to take away from this. You need to trust yourself. You are the person who is most likely to look after you. You may not know everything, you may make a few mistakes, but I've got to tell you that making a few mistakes yourself is a lot cheaper and more rewarding in some ways than having somebody else do it on your behalf and run off with your money and buy stupid things and have no remorse. It is criminal, and we certainly didn't have a problem saying that the person was guilty. But the focus of the story here is that these people, first of all, got, I believe, conned out of many thousands more than they should have paid for the information and help that they got from this seminar company. On top of that, they got fleeced by somebody who they thought was peer to some degree, somebody they looked up to and thought was trustworthy. And then it came to light, even in the discussions when they were giving evidence, was that they still went down the track and started dealing with other people in the similar investment spruiking system. Now, if you know me, you may think, how can I talk about that? Because I've been on the spruiking system, and I have. My company that I was in was Property Women, and they're still going, and they are, I have to say, I don't have to say, is that they're very trustworthy. Because they always had a very clear ethic, and that was that they would help people to help themselves. They weren't basically putting fish on your plate, they were showing you how to fish. Unfortunately, people want a quick fix sometimes, and so they'll go down the easy option. Now, I'm telling you all this because I want you to be aware. I also spoke to another friend the other day. We were having a couple of pre-Christmas drinks, as you do, and being at the time of year when people are starting to look at what they're going to do in the new year, and he was telling me how he regretted spending $25,000-$30,000 on a course that he was basically putting all his money into, and then when he put his money in, they said, oh, you've got to find another $20,000 because that's not enough. That's just your sort of startup, then you need capital to get going. So all the time it was like getting further and further into it, and years down the track they'd mortgaged their house and it'd taken them years to get out of debt, all because of that person misleading them in the first place. If you're going to go to a free event, be aware that people are there to sell you a product. Be aware that there's going to be a call to action that's going to be very exciting, very, it'll seem like it's the best thing to do, and there'll be a fear of missing out that is huge. When you get into that, you're probably going to be stepped up to another level, so there's normally 3 or 4 levels to that. So that's the first thing. If you're going to go to one of those events, please don't take your credit card. You can always make a deal afterwards if it's that good. Do your research before you do. Now, people say a fool and their money are often parted, but the people that were in this court case, and personal friends of mine who've been caught up in some of these scams, and myself, have been intelligent, well-educated, genuine, and trustworthy, and that's what they expect of other people. So the sad reality is, and I don't like to even admit this, but you can't trust everybody. You can only trust yourself. So if you're going to be going down a deal, anything that you're going to be doing, whether you're investing, whether it be business or shares or property, please speak to somebody else. Speak to somebody who's got a bit of nous, who does speak or who does think positively. So you don't want to just talk to the local taxi driver, you know, or somebody who never does anything. You want to speak to somebody that you respect, somebody that's done basically what you want to do. But somebody not involved in the transaction, so not somebody that's selling you the deal, not somebody that's involved in buying the same as you, because you just talk each other into it. I had a solicitor friend, so this will show you. She went along to a property seminar and assumed again that everybody had done the right thing, because there were lawyers there who were going to be doing the paperwork, and they were certainly doing the paperwork, but they weren't involved in the selling process. And there was a huge fear of missing out, and they told her something incorrect about the contracts in Queensland, and she did the right thing. She took me with her, but she had been eager and willing to sign until I could stand there objectively and show her why she shouldn't. So I felt good about that, and I felt good that she'd asked me to do that. So take a friend with you if you're going to go to one of these events. Have them along the lines where they're going to be looking at something a lot more logically and less emotionally than you. Remember that you know best about yourself. If you've got the slightest gut feeling that it's wrong, don't do it. Don't be pushed into doing something because you're going to have a fear of missing out, as I said before. Never do anything based on fear. Only do it based on something that you're really comfortable with. And normally speaking, you don't have to dash into anything. You know, even a property purchase, there's normally time to be able to reflect, perhaps take it off the market, have some clauses in it so that you can get out of jail free, and then be able to make your rational decision, feeling a lot more confident about it. What am I going to do? I can't fix the world, and I can't tell you what to do. I don't give advice. But what I can do is, if you don't have a friend to talk to, or nobody that's in that sort of position where you want to or can feel that you can trust them to give you some suggestions or an opinion that you feel comfortable with, and you want somebody that's totally out of the loop, you can give me a call, and I'm happy to talk to you for 15 minutes or something, and give you some feedback, give you some points to perhaps look at. I do a lot of that type of thing, troubleshooting, and I actually find it fun. People get stuck and they ring me, and I'm able to give them some ideas. I love that. It's a bit of a challenge. It's a bit like doing a crossword and trying to solve it. So I enjoy that. So there's no charge, there's no obligation. I do coaching, but I'm not looking for any coaching clients, so don't feel that you're going to be pushed into anything. There's no fear of missing out. But if you want to, just click the button below and you can make a time for a call. But if you don't, it doesn't matter. The main thing is that you get somebody else who you trust to be on your side, and don't sign anything, as some people say, until you've checked it out completely and you feel comfortable with it. Don't sign anything through fear or frustration, only through fun, excitement, and due diligence. Hi guys, just a quick update. Apparently, once the video started getting around a bit, people said that they needed some tips on how to avoid getting scammed. And I thought, well, that's a pretty good idea. So I put together a document. It's free to download. Feel free, put your email in, we'll send it to you. Enjoy.